Hey, what's going on everyone? Kevin here from Top Dog Advertising, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over some of the top things that I found from years of working with dog training business owners that actually help you drive more sales and sell more high-ticket programs. So the first thing I want to cover here is actually having a defined sales process. So what I mean by that is there's a lot of dog trainers that sometimes they'll do it one way, other times they'll do it another. But to me, what you want to do is have a really defined process on how you actually nurture and take care of leads and make sure that you get them across the finish line. So what I mean is what I've found over the years is sometimes with dog trainers, when they get an email, they'll treat leads one way or a contact form, or when they get phone calls, they treat them another. Sometimes, depending on the questions that the lead is asking them, they'll set up consultations. Other times they won't. And so to me, you want to have a proven sales process that everybody goes through the same exact methodology because you know it has the highest likelihood of actually converting them into a paying client. So philosophically speaking, you can't go wrong treating every single one of your leads, even if they are word of mouth referral leads, as cold leads. So let me explain what I mean by that. A cold lead nurturing process will work on all leads, but a warm lead nurturing process will not work on all leads. Warm leads need to be treated differently than cold leads. And so if you take everybody through your cold lead process where you really warm them up and get them comfortable buying from you, you'll have a lot of success. Versus if you try and treat every single lead like a warm lead and you treat the cold leads just like you do with your warm leads, where they come in, maybe you just start giving them pricing quickly, ask them when they want to get started, a lot of people won't buy. And so to me, you can't go wrong treating everybody the same way and having a methodical process where you take them from inbound lead to getting them on a discovery phone call to then moving them to an actual in-person evaluation. And then once you're there and have built a ton of trust and rapport, spend 45 minutes to an hour with them, sometimes longer, then you can start making them an offer. So if you do that with all leads, you'll probably find that you'll close anywhere between 60 to 80% of your leads. Now that brings me to my next point here. A lot of dog trainers, they get really excited when the leads start coming in. And so to me, you need to remain level-headed and not get out ahead of your skis when people start asking you questions about, hey, when can we get started? Or how much does it cost? Sometimes people look at those as like intent buying signals, and the lead actually isn't in the correct place yet to even make the decision on whether they want to get started or not. To me, you can never go wrong by just telling everybody that, hey, we actually need to start you out with a completely free in-person evaluation. And that way you don't even give them the opportunity to get the sticker shock initially and just say, oh, let me talk to my wife or my husband and give you a call back. So this is what I mean by everybody needs to go through the same process. Regardless of what they're telling you on the phone call, regardless of how confident they sound, you still want to make sure that you take them through the process, and that way you give yourself the highest likelihood of them actually purchasing. So one of the main things that I've found over the years of working with hundreds of dog training business owners is even when people tell me that they're good at closing on the phone, more than likely they're not as good as they think, and they're actually going to be way better when they close in person. So when we've studied this with some of our most successful dog trainers that we've worked with, when we really look at all the leads and how they came into the business, where they originated from, and what their closing percentages are when they try and sell over the phone versus in person, what we find is even with some of the most skilled salespeople, they close 85% of their leads when they get the opportunity to meet with the dog owner face to face, and they only close like 30 to 35% of their leads when they actually track it when they're trying to sell over the phone. The reason for this is when you get the opportunity to meet with the dog owner, you actually get the time to build that trust and rapport with them and not rush the money conversation. So what the age-old saying in sales is people buy from people that they feel like they know, like, and trust. And to me, when we're selling high-ticket programs like board and trains that are anywhere between $2,000 to $6,000 in some cases, what you're really asking people to do is, hey, I know you just met me, but send your dog to me for 5 weeks. And oh, by the way, pay me $6,000 on top of that as well. And so that's a big ask. The only way you're going to get people comfortable sending their dog away and really feeling comfortable paying you that amount of money at a very high rate, a high percentage of people wanting to do that, is by taking the time to build the trust and rapport with them. And only once that is done will they feel comfortable moving forward with the program. So this is just to say, make sure, because we've studied it for you, that you're booking in-person consultations. Now, it also depends on where your leads are coming from. If all of your leads are word of mouth referrals and you're having a lot of success selling over the phone, that is a little bit different than getting most of your leads from paid traffic sources. But at the end of the day, make sure that you're making statistical data-backed decisions on what's actually happening with your sales process not basing it off of emotions. So make sure that when you think that you're closing well over the phone, that you actually take the time to look back at all of your previous sales calls that you've done over the last 30, 60, 90 days and look at the percentage of people that have actually closed. The next thing here is making sure that you make the consultation about the dog owner. It's not about you. It's not about what you can do. It's about them and their problems. Another thing is don't even make it about the dog. Make it about how their dog's bad behavior is affecting their life. So many times as salespeople, what we can do is get in our own way and we just feel like we have so much information that we want to get across to the lead that we just start telling them all about us and what we can do instead of letting them talk and telling us or allowing them to tell us what they need help with. If you ask the right questions and you allow them to speak, they will pretty much self-sell. They'll tell you the things that are most important to them. And then that way, at the end of the consultation, you can bring them back to that if they have any price objections, or you can, again, come back to that right before you price drop and tell them, if I'm hearing you correctly, the most important things for you to get fixed and for us to be able to take care of for you are X, Y, and Z. Do I have that right? And it makes them feel like this person's really listened to me. This program is built exactly for me. And once they feel that way, that is the moment that you want to start going into what the program is all about and what it's going to cost them. The last thing I want to talk about here is so many of us, once we get our first objection at the end of the sales process, we start getting very uncomfortable. And frankly, we kind of fold like a cheap lawn chair. And so what you need to do is really be comfortable in the uncomfortability and push through those objections. So what that means is when somebody says something to you like, whoa, that's a lot of money, just sticking in the conversation a little bit longer and say, listen, I totally understand that. Just so I'm clear, more specifically, what about the money is it that's making you feel a little bit uneasy? Or ask them, hey, did you have a budget in mind? Was there something that you kind of thought in your head that this was going to cost? The main thing is you just want to keep the conversation going so you can have an open dialogue about the money. If you feel uncomfortable talking about money with them and they seem a little bit uneasy talking about it with you, you need to be tactful about how you approach this, but you need to be able to discuss the money out in the open in order to come up with a solution that actually works for them to be able to pay for your program. So many times over the years when I've just asked that small little nuanced question of like, hey, more specifically with the money, like what is it that you're getting hung up on? Or asking them something like, totally understand it's an investment, but just so I'm clear, if money weren't an issue today, is this something that you would want to move forward with right now? Most times people say like, yeah, that's exactly what I would do. If I had the money sitting in my checking account, I'd pay you and we get started right away. From there, what you're able to do is say, hey, listen, I never want money to be the reason that our clients don't have access to our training. So if I could break this up for you, we could talk about like a payment plan or something that can make this a little bit more financially feasible for you. Would you be interested in hearing about that? Most people are going to tell you, yeah, absolutely. I'd love to hear about that. And so that's your in. That's your opportunity to discuss with them payment plans and how you can get them started and all the flexibility you have with your programs. So I hope this video was helpful. If you're someone who feels like you're not getting enough leads, you're not getting enough opportunity, or even you are getting leads, but you're not sure how to take those leads from actually just leads to actual paying customers, make sure to head on over to topdogadvertising.com and book a call with our team. This is exactly what we specialize in. We work with dog trainers all the time who are new to selling or running a business, and we're able to help them to go from $0 a month all the way up to 10, 20, 30, 40, 50K plus months once they get their footing and they really get their system down. I hope you guys got some value out of this video. If there's anything that you want to hear me talk about, or more specifically, things that you're struggling with in your business, make sure to drop them down in the comments below and I can record a video specifically on any of those topics for you. See you guys in the next one.